Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Krista, and I am here to do some Celtic Reiki on you. Today's healing is going to be a Scorpio season healing. A little bit about Scorpio. Scorpio season is roughly October 23rd to November 21st. And Scorpio rules the 8th house in astrology, which is the house of transformation. Scorpio in traditional astrology is ruled by Mars, the planet of courage, passion, war, aggression, bravery, um, very fiery energy. In New Age astrology or modern astrology, Scorpio is ruled by the planet Pluto, which is the planet of the underworld and transformation and deep excavation and death and rebirth. So, really, Scorpio is kind of a blending of those Mars and Pluto energies. Scorpio is also a water sign. That is its element. Water is in charge of emotions and feelings. Water signs are very intuitive and in depth in the emotional world. Scorpio is also known as a fixed sign. So, signs, in addition to elements, also have modalities. And there are cardinal, fixed, and mutable modalities. And fixed modalities are the middle sign of a season. So a cardinal sign starts off the season. So, for instance, Libra is a cardinal sign, it is the start of fall. Scorpio is the fixed sign in the middle of fall. And then Sagittarius is the mutable sign at the end of fall. Fixed signs are known for being very stable anchors that harness energy. They are very stable and grounded, but then can also be stubborn on the other side of that. So, Scorpio as a fixed water sign is a little bit paradoxical. And so I very much feel for Scorpios because this can't be an easy energy to contend with because water, if you think of water, it's very flowing and movable and flexible, but fixed is very grounded, stable, anchored, unmoving. So to be unmoving water is an interesting paradox that can make things a little more tricky for Scorpios in terms of their emotions. It makes them very intense and deeply rooted, yet sensitive and emotional water signs. So, Scorpio as a fixed water sign really harnesses emotional intensity. And when we go back to the other water videos I've done and will continue to do, I have been using different analogies for the different elements. So, the earth signs I've been doing as a tree, the fire signs I've been doing as a growing fire, and the water signs I've been doing as different bodies of water. I have gotten this idea from the Royal Cusp on TikTok. He does really great analogies with that. And so, for Cancer being a cardinal water sign, a cardinal is like an initiation of energy. Cancer got the river as a kind of direct, fast moving water sign that kind of gets energy flowing. Scorpio, as a fixed water sign, an unmoving water sign, is unfortunately not the most flattering analogy for water. I apologize. I believe the Royal Cusp likens it to a swamp because it's like these watery emotions get very stagnant when they are fixed. They don't have anywhere to flow and go since they're all in a very fixed position. But I thought a couple of other analogies that are maybe a little more flattering is maybe like a pond or a well. A well is very, very, very deep. You only see the surface. You can't see beneath the surface. It's still an unmoving water, a fixed water, but it goes down very, very, very deep. And we don't see what's underneath the surface, which is a very Scorpio trait. The archetype that I would give a Scorpio is a psychologist, because they really harness that emotional intensity. They go really, really deep down into things. Scorpios can be very mysterious in terms of they don't really share much of what they've got going on inside, but they are really good at digging into what you have going on inside. And being a ruler of the eighth house is also the house of, like I said, death, rebirth, transformation, but also mental health and things that are hidden beneath the surface. So that really goes along very well with psychologist. A key word that I would give Scorpio is deep. A famous Scorpio is Sylvia Plath. So I think that, really kind of goes hand in hand with that deep, dark, mysterious, mental health, transformative, creative, emotional situation. Some Scorpio traits, and again, these can be positive or negative. They're just traits of Scorpio, and I'm not necessarily saying that every Scorpio is these things. We're just looking at Scorpio as a sign in and of itself. So even just traits of Scorpio season: determined, intuitive, creative, emotional, deep, loyal, secretive, ambitious, obsessive, passionate, strategic, jealous, committed, methodical, resentful, problem solving, mysterious, stubborn, devoted, and intriguing. So, for today's Scorpio season healing, I found some really amazing energies to work with all of these ideas and traits in mind. We are going to be working with the Celtic Ogham of Strath, which is the black thorn. This is all about transformation and very strong Scorpio themes, which I'll get into more as I'm doing the healing. And then the Nordic rune Awaz, which is symbolic of the yew tree and is also very, very, very much about death, rebirth, transformation, and all that good stuff. And I will get more into that during the healing as well. And then we are also going to work with the Celtic goddess Morrigan, who is the goddess of death and magic. And Morrigan is here to let us know that now is the time to let certain parts of our life die and recognize this process as something to celebrate as well as to mourn. We need to let go with love and gratitude and leave our fears behind, because in death there is a great magic and a rebirth, and nothing can ever truly be destroyed. From the ashes of the old, a new life and new dreams can come to be. So she is going to help us face this time of dying and death with love and courage. She's going to help us be willing to empty out, and then she can fill us up with the magic, and a new world is going to be born within us. So she can help us surrender our resistance and allow things to be as they are, which is very much a Scorpio theme. It's also no coincidence that Scorpio falls during Halloween and Samhain, and a time of ushering in, daylight savings where it gets darker earlier. We have that darkness and light element that we go through during this period of time. And, the Day of the Dead happens during this time. The veil between worlds is very thin, which is very much a Scorpio theme. And, we're also dealing with weather going from being summer to winter. We're in that in-between phase of fall. So all of these things really go hand in hand and are no coincidence that they all happen at the same time. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start our healing today. First, I'm going to take my magpie wing and do a little bit of a water cleanse. This is Florida water, since Scorpio is a water sign, but a very gothic water sign. I thought kind of waving some Florida water on you would be a great little cleansing. So Just getting that cleansing water over your body, breaking up anything that is stagnant and stuck. Scorpio is known as a sign that can get stuck easily, like I said, that unmoving, stagnant water of emotions. So it's really important to kind of unstick the things that are ready to be let go of. So we're just going to kind of gently break that up. Some things are more deeply rooted, they're hanging on more solidly and may not be ready to be cleansed yet. But anything that is ready to be cleansed but is just being stubborn, that we can unstick, we will do so with this magpie wing and the Florida water. And running that over the top of your head and down the back of your body and under your feet and up your body, up that center line, and just pushing it out and giving that stagnant, stuck energy that is no longer needed to Mother Earth to transmute into something beautiful. That theme of death and rebirth, the death of these old energies that we don't need to hang on to, and the rebirth of that energy being transmuted by Mother Earth into something positive and helpful and healing. Okay. Then next, I'm really excited about these new oils I got. I ordered them from, I believe it's called Star Child. It is in the UK. And these are essential oils from all the different trees. So since we are using the strafe blackthorn today and the Awas Celtic rune, or sorry, Nordic rune, which is for the yew tree, I'm going to use a bit of that essential oil to anoint you. So with the yew, just kind of rubbing that on your upper dantian, which is the spot between your eyebrows and on your forehead. Really taking in this beautiful woodsy, earthy yew tree scent. And then in your middle dantian, your heart space, anointing you with this yew essence. And then your lower dantian, your root, again spreading this beautiful essential oil healing essence of the yew, which corresponds with the Awas rune. And then doing the same with the blackthorn, which is the strafe and anointing the upper dantian and the heart space. It also has a beautiful earthy woodsy scent. They smell different from each other, but I don't know how to describe how they're different because they're all musky, earthy, woodsy, but just in their own unique ways. And then moving that blackthorn down to the lower dantian, spreading that beautiful essential oil essence throughout. And now I'm just going to go in with the selenite wand and do some deeper cleansing, taking what we were able to break up with the wing and go in a little deeper and kind of clear out what is hanging on but also ready to be let go of. Thinking about Scorpio season and these traits that I've listed, thinking about which of these traits will serve you well in this season and are good to hold on to and amplify. Perhaps the traits of being determined and creative and loyal and passionate, committed, problem solving, devoted. But then also thinking about any of the traits that would be good to try to let go of this season and work through in this transformation of death and rebirth. What things could maybe stand to die, so to speak, and be let go of? Maybe things like being secretive when it's not serving, a positive purpose, being jealous, being resentful, being stubborn. And then, being emotional, has its hard and its light, its dark and its light. Being in touch with our emotions and emotionally mature in a healthy way is a very helpful energy to work with during Scorpio season. But if we are being excessively emotional, emotionally immature, or not being in touch enough with our emotions, that would be something to work on with this transformative energy of Scorpio season. Being fixed and anchored and stable and being able to harness this grounded energy is helpful. But how can we marry that with the water energy, this flowing, emotional, feeling water energy, instead of being this swamp of stagnant energy? Perhaps we can be more of a well, kind of cleaner drinking water, but it does go down deep. Who can we trust to let see beneath the surface? It's important to let some people in. I understand it wouldn't be healthy to let everyone in, but working to be a little more trusting and a little less secretive and letting some people in. It shouldn't just always be your job to take on everyone else's emotional intensity and being their psychologist all the time and never sharing your own pain and grief, sorrow, or even things that are happy, Working on that trust to let people in. Okay. And so now that we've done some cleansing, I want to do some grounding. I'm going to take this grounding stone that I got in Ireland when I was at Newgrange, which is a temple, a burial temple, on a fault line where the veil is very thin between worlds. Lots of death and rebirth happening at this site. It's a very heavy energy, and I want to help us ground so that we can be grounded and protected when we receive today's healing. Imagine that you have roots growing out the bottom of your feet into the earth, into the swamp even if you want. We have a body of water here called Cache Bayou. Used to be a river, but it was sectioned off, and now it does have more of a swamp quality, pond quality. It has these beautiful, amazing cypress trees growing out of it that really thrive in that environment, and they are rooted down into the earth through that water. So with this watery Scorpio fixed energy and needing to get rooted into the earth, let's imagine ourselves as those cypress trees anchoring down in. Take some deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth for me to really feel relaxed and ready to receive this healing so that you can feel more grounded and stable. And we call on our guides, angels, and spirit team to help protect us and keep us rooted during today's healing with these energies that can be a little more dynamic and difficult to deal with. And we're especially calling on Morgan today to help assist us in these transitions and transformation with the death and rebirth element. And then to go in and do a little further grounding and protection, taking this stone and just running it down the body, rooting you and grounding you in from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, all the way down into the earth, planting you, keeping you safe, rubbing its essence down your body to fully ground and protect ourselves and this space that we just cleared with all the cleansing we just did. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and go in and do the symbols. So first we have this strafe blackthorn energy that I'm going to place in each dantian. So strafe, like I said, is the blackthorn. If you are familiar with Sleeping Beauty, it's that really big thorny bush that, or plant, tree, barricade, barrier that the prince had to get through to get to Sleeping Beauty. And this symbol represents transformation, the strength to overcome major karmic obstacles. It provides strong protection, moving down into your middle dantian heart space. Being able to accept darkness. This is a time of year when things get dark. Scorpio is a sign that can be dark, helping us kind of accept the uncomfortable nature of it, and remembering that darkness leads to enlightenment. And this symbol helps give us the clarity to see and acknowledge our shadow side and our pains and difficulties. And it gives us the strength to heal the shadow side. It brings light to those stuck in darkness. It brings change to stuck circumstances. Strafe helps heal trauma and soul damage. It is associated with Scorpio, Pluto, and Mars, so it's especially fitting. It's no coincidence that all these things go together. If Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and Mars, and those are planets of the underworld, transformation, death and rebirth, passion, courage, intensity, and those are traits of Scorpio. And this particular symbol of strafe is also associated with all of those elements, and it's here to assist us through that. No coincidence, all of this goes together. This symbol helps create an impenetrable barrier, psychic and physical, so that your boundaries can grow stronger by gathering, transmuting, and returning negative energy to trespassers, which is a very tricky, difficult energy to work with. Taking that energy any negative energy that comes your way, and it creates a barrier from it harming you. It gathers that energy, it transmutes it, and returns it so it does not impact you. I don't like sending, negative energy to people. I'm never going to initiate that, but I am going to protect myself from it and let it bounce off me and return to sender. Strafe. So we're just imagining that blackthorn creating this boundary around us that protects us. Now, again, Scorpio is very much about that protected, not letting people see what's underneath energy. And I want to work to balance that this season, though. Are you someone who is too leaky and porous and has no barriers and boundaries? Do you need more? Then we're going to give you that. Or are you someone with too many? You have trust issues, you're secretive, you're too closed up, and you need a little help transforming, letting those portions of you die off and be reborn into someone who can let the right people in and kind of transforming and healing that trauma and soul damage. And then moving on to the Awaz rune, the yew tree. Awaz. I'm going to use my clear quartz to start up in the upper dantian, the middle dantian, and the lower dantian. So Awaz, again, associated with the yew tree, which is the world tree. The yew tree is very interesting because it is evergreen, but the needles are poisonous. It has very healing properties and also properties that can cause death. So it's that paradoxical energy once again, like the energy of being fixed but also water. There are many paradoxes with the Scorpio sign, which is why it's so transformative. It's watery and emotional, but it's fixed and it can get stuck. It's very deep, anchored. So this Awaz rune really helps. It helps provide a pathway between these opposing paradoxical forces. These two things don't have to be in conflict with each other. We can find ways to marry and combine them in harmony in a way that will serve you positively. So how can we combine that fixed, stable energy with that flowy, emotional water energy? And even though we are not using the cypress tree as a symbol in this healing, thinking about that example I gave of this local terrain where there is this swamp that has cypress trees in it, and you can go on guided canoe tours through this amazing place, and you see a lot of beauty. There's a lot of really cool wildlife and beautiful scenery, and these trees are incredible. They can be really old, hundreds and thousands of years old. And they're growing in this swamp, and they're providing a beauty for people to go and enjoy, and they're providing nourishment and housing for different animals and things in nature. So Awaz as a rune is about having a rough exterior and deep roots and protective strength. It provides a pathway between worlds, and it links opposing forces. It is the axis of transformation, which, again, all of that goes with all the themes that we've already been talking about. It represents death and eternal life, as well as death and rebirth. It helps assist in endings, initiation, resilience, and gateways, which is very fitting for everything I've talked about with Scorpio, Pluto, Morrigan, Strafe, all of these things. It is the rune of the underworld, so it is about destruction and rebirth, which, again, the underworld, Pluto, Strafe, all of that. You know, we think of that as being really difficult, and it can be, but there is necessary growth and beauty that comes from excavating what is subterranean, pulling it up, dealing with it, dealing with the deep, intense emotions of it, and having the fortitude to see it through so that we can go through this transition, this liminal space that brings on spiritual transformation and really helps us turn those difficult problems into an advantage and helps us grow from them and become a better version of ourselves. Letting Morrigan bring that magic that can come fill up the space after those deaths that we must face. So the Awaz helps you face what must end before new growth can begin. It helps you with shadow work, grief, deep initiation, and spiritual transformation. It helps with being in the transition in a liminal space, and it links those opposite paradoxical energies, and it carries those energies between them to help create a better balance, a healthy balance. Yew trees are also planted in graveyards, so again, that kind of other world death and rebirth energy. Take a few deep breaths in and out for me. I'm going to use these oils once more. The yew with the Awaz rune into the upper dantian, the middle dantian heart space, this Awaz energy helping you, assist you in that transition between what is meant to let go and what is meant to be born. And in the lower dantian, helping turn the difficult problems into an advantage. And then anointing you once more with the blackthorn, the strafe oil, during this time of transformation, helping give you strong protection and the strength to overcome major karmic obstacles, helping create the boundaries and barriers needed to take care of yourself, and letting that darkness lead to enlightenment. Now we're just going to go ahead and seal in all these energies, all that we've just cleansed, we've just refilled with this incredibly transformative, powerful, strong energy that I would like to help you hold on to for this Scorpio season. Remembering that while transformation can be uncomfortable, it is a necessary part of life and growth, and can lead to beautiful, beautiful, necessary change that can help us be much happier if we just allow it. This time of year can be difficult for people with less sun, more dark, more cold. But it gives us that chance to rest and go inwards and work within ourselves in that deep well of transformation. And maybe we can lead into being more determined, intuitive, creative, emotionally healthy, loyal, passionate, committed, problem solving, devoted. And we can let go of being too secretive, obsessive, jealous, resentful. Having a good balance of mystery and intrigue, a good balance of being methodical and ambitious, and a good balance of being emotional. And just a final little protective seal-in with the tourmaline, sealing in and protecting all of this work that we've just done for Scorpio season of transformation and transition. I hope that you are able to carry on this strength to overcome major karmic obstacles and accept the darkness that leads to enlightenment, to be able to see and acknowledge your shadow side and pains and difficulties and the strength to heal them, to move out of the darkness into the light, to be able to have the proper boundaries that we need, the deep roots that we need, being able to let what is no longer needed die and create room for the rebirth of what change is needed and growth is needed, having the courage to allow the change to happen, facing what must end before new growth can begin, for that spiritual transformation, and turning those difficult problems into advantages. Taking the essence of the yew tree, the blackthorn tree, the deep well, the fixed water, and even those cypress trees in the swamp. I'm sending you so much love. Morgan is here to assist you and send you so much love to get through this Scorpio season, those difficult emotions that can come up, with as much grace as possible, remembering to be gentle with yourself, loving with yourself, and gentle and loving with others. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope that you found some beautiful healing with this and that you enjoyed it. And thank you so much for being here. Sending you many blessings and much love for Scorpio season.